Good morning friends, I am Dr. Sandeep Parit from Shivraj College, Gadinglas. Previously we have studied some units, particularly units based on some lessons, units based on communication skill. In the last lecture we have studied one poem, I Thank You God by Bernard Daddy. Today I am going to start one poem, that is To the Cuckoo, a poem by William Wordsworth. So, first of all, we will take the brief introduction of William Wordsworth. Now you might know about Romanticism. If you have a glance at the history of English literature, you will find that history of English literature has numbers of ages, and Romanticism is one of the prominent ages in the English literature. He was one of the founders of English Romanticism. That is, William Wordsworth is the founder of English Romanticism, Romantic movement. P.B. Shelley, then we have John Keats, numbers of other romantic poets are there, and with them he has also founded this movement, that is Romantic movement. One of its most central figures, William Wordsworth is one of the most central figures in Romanticism. It is important intellectuals. So he is very much related to Romantic movement, Romantic revival in the English literature. The British Romantic poet was born on 17th April 1770. This poet was born on the 7th April of 1770. His poems are inspired by the beauty of nature. He is a nature poet. Whatever he has written about nature, natural elements. He has close affinity towards the nature. He was spending many hours walking in the fell of the Lake District. He belongs to Lake District in the England. He lives there. Mostly he goes on walking in the vicinity of nature. He was walking near to the lakes. So he is known as a nature poet. His poems also describes the lives of the ordinary people. He has focused on two important things. The first focus is on nature, and second focus is on ordinary people, the lives of common men, the lives of simple men, that is rural people, and that is the Romanticism. Use the vocabulary and speech patterns of common people in poetry. If you study his poems, if you study his writing, you will find the expressions which are used there, the language which is used there is very simple. Common people's language, common people's vocabulary is used in the poetry, used in the writing. His major works consist of Lyrical Ballads, Lucy Gray, The Solitary River, Ode to Duty, The Prelude, and many other books he has written. He is one of the well-known books, that's Lyrical Ballad, which set milestone for the origin of Romanticism, and that work was published or written by William Wordsworth with collaboration with S.T. Coleridge. So this is the brief introduction of the poet William Wordsworth, and that poet died on 23rd of April 1850. So this is the brief introduction. Next slide. Now let us turn towards the introduction of today's poem, that is To the Cuckoo, a lyrical pastoral poem. This poem is a lyrical pastoral poem. Now pastoral means what? Pastoral stands for simplicity. Particularly the poems which are related to shepherds. The poems which are related to rural people, common people. So this poem is a pastoral poem. It means that it focuses on the nature, it focuses on the simplicity of nature, and that is lyrical pastoral poem. Directly address this poem to the cuckoo. Now cuckoo is one of the bird, one type of bird. And this poem is addressed to that bird, cuckoo. A little singing bird comes to England in early spring. this bird comes to England in early spring, and this poem is very much addressed to that bird, the cuckoo. Expresses his love, devotion, and unfulfilled desire to see the cuckoo throughout the poem. His love towards that bird, his devotion towards that bird, and one of his desires, that watching that bird or seeing that bird remain unfulfilled. And that desire is very much found in this poem, in the present poem. If you read this poem, you analyze the poem, you will understand the desire of watching or looking that poem is remain unfulfilled. And that is the central theme of this poem. Writer's search for the cuckoo from childhood, from boyhood, since from his school days, he has been in the search of that particular bird. He was only hearing the sound of that bird, the singing of that bird, but he could not see that bird for a single time. And therefore, his search for that bird, his search for that cuckoo is very much there in the poem. Remembers his childhood and boyhood memories. So, when that bird starts singing, with that, he remembers his childhood memories, his boyhood memories. He goes in the past. He tries to experience the emotions, he tries to recollect those emotions which were there in the past during his childhood. A poem of joy and happy memories. Because when he is writing, now he is writing the poem, while writing the poem, he feels joy. He feels that cheerfulness. Because while writing, he is recollecting those emotions, he is recollecting those experiences from childhood memories. He feels that the cuckoo is more than a winged animal. For Wordsworth, cuckoo is not only the bird, he is more than bird. He is more than that winged animal. Winged animal means bird. He is not only physically bird, but it is more than that. So what is that? We are going to study in this poem. Next slide. Now, stanza-wise analysis of the poem. Let me explain. Let me analyze the actual poem, stanza number 1. Let me start this. O bleak newcomer, O bleak newcomer, I have heard. I hear thee and rejoice. I hear thee and rejoice, O cuckoo. Shall I call you the bird? O cuckoo, shall I call you the bird, or but a wandering voice? This is the first stanza. O bleak newcomer. Here, Wordsworth has referred cuckoo as a newcomer. He is free from all the restrictions of human life. He is a newcomer. He has arrived. Many times he has come. He is singing. He is crying. He can hear the sound of his singing, but he could not see him. He is a newcomer for the Wordsworth. I have heard your voice. I hear thee. Thee means you. Thee is an archaic word. Thee means you. I hear thee and rejoice. Whenever and wherever I heard you, I got delighted. I became happy after listening to your voice. Oh cuckoo, shall I call you the bird? I don't understand what to call you. Because since my childhood, I am hearing only your sound, your singing, but I could not see you. So the question is, whether you are a bird or what? I don't understand. Oh cuckoo, shall I call the bird, or bird a wandering voice? I can understand, I can get your voice, your wandering voice. The cuckoo is being called a blithe, that is cheerful and carefree newcomer. In this stanza, the cuckoo is called as a carefree newcomer, cheerful newcomer, because whenever or wherever he starts singing, what happens? You catch my attention. You catch everybody's attention, and therefore you are delighted. You are cheerful. The voice brings back the joyous memories. Joyous memories. The voice brings back the joyous memories. Whenever he listen to that song or singing of a cuckoo, he becomes happy. He feels very cheerful. And therefore, wandering voice stands for free voice, free from all worldly worries. Now we all human beings are having full of pressures, full of tensions. We have our daily routine, daily worries, worldly worries. So we are under pressure every time. But this bird is not under pressure. He flies everywhere. It flies everywhere. So it doesn't have any burden. He is wandering from one place to another place. And therefore, but I could not see it. I cannot see it. I only can listen to his singing. I only can hear his singing. So, for me, that bird is wandering voice. It implies that the cuckoo is free from all restrictions of human life. We are restricted, but cuckoo is not restricted. The identity will remain as that of wandering voice. Throughout the whole poem, the identity of the cuckoo is remained silent. It is somewhat confused to the William Wordsworth. Why? Because since childhood to up to now, for these many years, he could only listen to the voice, he could listen to his singing, but not once he could not see it. And therefore, for Wordsworth, his identity is only wandering voice. This is the first stanza. Stanza next. Stanza, second stanza. While I am lying on the grass, while I am lying on the grass, thy twofold shout I hear. Wordsworth is a nature poet. He always likes to lie on the grass. He always likes to sleep on the grass. What happened? While I am lying on the grass. One day I was lying on the grass. Thy twofold shout, thy means your. Thy means your. Your twofold shout, I hear. Twofold shout. Twofold means echo. Again and again, I am hearing your sound. Double sound. I am listening your double sound. Thy twofold shout, I hear. From hill to hill, it seems to pass. I am listening. I am hearing you. But what happened? Your sound is wandering from hills to hill. It is passing through hill to hill. So it is wandering voice. Everywhere I am listening to your voice. At once far off and near. Sometimes I feel that you are very near to me. Sometimes I feel that you are very far away from me. So near or far away means at you are here. Sometimes I feel that you are very close to me. Sometimes I feel that you are very or far away from me. So that kind of voice you are having. You have twofold shout. So the effect of echoes, the echoing effect is there of that bird. That twofold shout means the voice of cuckoo or echoes of that voice, making it sound like two different voices. I feel that, I understand, I hear your echoing sound. The wandering cuckoo's song is everywhere, in valleys, in hills, everywhere in the nature. I can only hear your sound. Everywhere I am hearing your sound. The poet is closely and deeply attached to the nature, as previously I have told you. William Wordsworth belongs to Romanticism, and Romanticism means romantic poets deeply affected by the nature. They are very much interested in the nature. Nature is the central theme of their writing, and therefore that theme, that nature is reflected here in the same poem. The close affinity to the nature is found in the poem, and the cuckoo is one of the natural elements. And on that, William Wordsworth has composed this poem. Next stanza. Though babbling only to the well. Babbling means talking. Though babbling only to the well means valleys. You are talking to the valleys because birds, birds lives in valleys. Birds live in trees, on trees. They live in woods. They live on hills. So, though babbling only to the valley, well means valley. You are talking to valley of sunshine and of flowers. The valley is full of sunshine. The valley is full of flowers. And you are talking to them. I can also hear you are singing. Thou bringest unto me a tale. Thou means you. Bringest, brought. Unto me a tale. Me a tale. Tale means story. When I started listening your voice, when I started hearing your song, I go in my childhood memories. I remember certain stories from my childhood memories. I remember some tales from my childhood memories of visionary hours. Visionary hours stands for the hours of childhood. Those hours, that time, that golden period means visionary hours. I remember. I visualize my childhood in front of me because when I was a little child, I used to hear your song. When I was in boyhood, I used to hear your song. And now I am grown up. I am grown up. Still I am listening to your sound. Still I am hearing to your voice. So in all phases of my life, I am hearing you. And when I hear, right now at present, when I hear, suddenly my childhood picture stands in front of me. That happens, and that is the magic of you, the cuckoo. Taking to the valley that is brimming with sunshine and the flowers. You are talking to the valleys which are full of sunshine and full of flowers. You made me remember my childhood memories. Just I explained you. Those visionary hearts cannot go back to them in person. Now we are grown up. Anybody can go physically in the childhood. Anybody cannot go physically. We can only do that is remembering. You can remember your childhood days, but you cannot physically go in that. And the cuckoo is the medium. You are the medium. Because of that medium, I could remember my childhood memories. And therefore, these are golden days for me. My childhood is the golden days for me. You narrate, you bring forth a story from my past. When I hear your song, I go in the past. I remember my childhood. I remember my joyous moments in my childhood. The elements of nostalgia are found in this stanza. Nostalgia means what? Nostalgic means there is an attraction for our personal memories, our past, our whatever our domestic things are there, we attract towards this. So here, poet is transferred or transported to the past. He transported to the past. He went into the past, and here he becomes the nostalgic. So nostalgic elements are found in this stanza. Next stanza. Thrice welcome. Thrice means for 3 times. For 3rd time, I am going to welcome you. He is welcoming the cuckoo. Thrice welcome, darling of the spring. 3rd time, I am going to welcome you. Poet is very eager to welcome you. Poet is very eager to listen to his song or its song, to hear it. Thrice welcome, darling of the spring. You are the darling of the spring because this bird or the cuckoo comes to England during spring season. During spring season, it founds there in England. Therefore, darling of the spring. The cuckoo is the darling of the spring. Even yet thou art to me, but you are for me no bird. You are not only ordinary bird for me, you are more than that. In first stanza, there is one reference. You are more than winged animal. You are more than winged animal. So, you are not ordinary bird for me. No bird, but an invisible thing. I have been trying to see you, but you could not see me. I cannot see you. and therefore an invisible thing for me. You are an invisible thing for me, a voice, a mystery. Up to now, at present, at this moment, I have been trying a lot to see you, but I could not see you, I cannot see you, and therefore your voice and you is a mystery for me. Mystery for me. Thrice welcome means the cuckoo is being welcomed 3 times. Repetition shows the poet's eagerness. Thrice. तिसऱ्यांदा म्हणतोय म्हणजे इथं कवी काय उत्सुक आहे. He is very eager to welcome him, and therefore thrice welcome he has used him. It arrives during spring season, singing about valleys, flowers, and other beauties of nature. That bird is singing about valleys. That bird is singing about nature. That bird is singing about flowers. That bird is singing about beauties of nature. The bird itself is singing about nature. The bird is singing one word to the nature. I think so. And therefore, you are not only bird for me, you are more than bird for me. An invisible thing, the poet can't see the bird, can only hear the voice, and that is a mystery. What is mystery? What is mysterious? Whatever we cannot see is mysterious. Through our eyes, whatever we cannot see, that is mysterious. So that voice is there, and physically, or I cannot see that bird physically, in physical form, and therefore you are mystery for me. Its voice makes him emotional. Here the poet seems to be somewhat emotional, and that emotions are reflected in this stanza. Next. The same whom in my schoolboy days. The same thing. The same whom in my schoolboy days I listened to that cry. In my childhood, in my schoolboy days, I listened your song. I used to listen. I liked to listen, which made me look 1,000 ways. Which made me look 1,000 ways in bush and tree and sky. I searched you a lot. I searched for you at numbers of places, thousands of places. I searched you in bush, I searched you on tree, I searched you in the sky. Everywhere I tried to search you, but I could not see you. Therefore, his unfulfilled desire to get a glimpse of the origin of the voice that he remembers from his boyhood. He always tried, whenever that cry or that singing was there of cuckoo, he searched for the origin of that voice, from where that voice is coming. He tried to search the place. हा आवाज कुठून येतोय हा शोधण्याचा प्रयत्न तो करतोय. But he could not get that place. He could not find that place. He searched numbers of places. He searched in the bush. He searched on the trees. He searched in the sky. But he could not find the place. He remembers from his boyhood, and the poet looked in the 1,000 places to locate the bird, find the source of the voice. He searched it everywhere, but he could not find it. The cuckoo's voice had fascinated the poet. Fascination, somewhat fascination towards the voice of cuckoo is found in the stanza. The poet got attracted very deeply towards that bird. He wanted to see that bird, but he could not. He only heard the sound of that cuckoo. Next stanza. To seek thee, seek means search. To seek thee, did I often rove? Rove means roaming. I wandered, I walked, I ran. In your search, I run everywhere. I walked everywhere. Through woods and on the green. Through woods on the green. In the forest, in woods, in hills, in valleys, everywhere I searched you. I was very much, I would say, affected to see you, to have a glance on you, to have a glimpse on you, but I could not see you. And thou wert still a hope. And thou means you. Wert means where? You were still a hope. You are a hope for me, a love. I have some kind of love towards you, still longed for. I am longing towards you. I have some desires. I have some compassion. I have some love towards you, for never seen. We are human beings. We see numbers of people around us. We see numbers of people, but we don't show our mercy towards them. But here, the poet has mercy, the poet has compassion, has love for one thing that is never seen. He has never seen that bird, but he loves it. But he loves it. So, the poet wandered constantly looking for the bird despite being unsuccessful in the past. So, constantly he is in search of that bird. Despite being unsuccessful in the past, the poet hasn't given up and said that he still hopes to find the bird. In childhood, he searched. In boyhood, he searched. When he grown up, he searched. And now, he is searching. Again and searching, but he could not stop. He has certain hope that one day I will see. One day I will see the cuckoo. And so the hopes are there in his mind. Wordsworth has also confessed his love and attachment for the cuckoo bird. His love and attachment. See how much Wordsworth is attached to that bird. Without seeing, without looking for a single time, he falls in love with it. Without seeing for a single time. The poet hasn't lost hope yet and still wants to find his love. And therefore, that is what the last still longed for and never seen. That is a very important line in this stanza. Whatever the poet is longing for, the thing which is never seen. He has never seen the bird, but the love is there for that bird. Next. And I can listen to thee yet. Now at present. Up to now, he went many times in the past. He narrated numbers of things in the childhood, in the boyhood. But now, I can listen to thee yet. Yet means, at present I can listen. Right now I am listening to you. I can hear your song. Can lie upon plain. Plain means floor. Sometimes in the previous stanza, he slept on the grass. Right now, he lied on the plain, he lied on the floor. He has slept on the floor and listen. Again I am listening. When I was in the field, when I was in the nature, I was listening to you. Right now I am on the floor, on the plain, again I am listening to you. Again and again listening till I do beget. Beget means produce that golden time again. Golden time means the golden days of childhood. It means whenever and wherever I am, place doesn't matter. Plain is there, or nature is there, or grass is there. Whenever I listen to you, I always remember my childhood memories, childhood days. That golden time again. Poet comes back to the present and says that he can listen, he can still listen to the cuckoo. At present also he can listen to the cuckoo. The poet begets or produces those golden days of childhood. In the form of that cuckoo, he remembers his golden days. Childhood was precious to him and that he wants to relive the moments of his schoolboy days by lying down on the grass and listening to the voice of the cuckoo. What poet aspires for? Poet wants to lie on the grass. And when lying on the grass again at this age also he is aspiring for singing or listening to the song sung by the cuckoo. He wants to hear the song of the cuckoo. That is stanza number 7. And the last stanza next. Stanza number 8. Last stanza. Oh blessed bird. The bird is called as a blessed. The poet has dignified the bird because he has certain affinity and love for that bird, and therefore he is saying that, oh blessed bird, the earth we peck. We are living on this earth. You are also living on this same earth. Again appears to be an unsubstantial or fairy place. I don't understand what is going on. I don't understand. I am hearing your sound, but I could not watch you. And therefore, this earth seems to be unsubstantial, fairy place for me. And therefore, that is fit home for thee. Thee means you. This earth is versatile. This earth is unrealistic somewhat, unsubstantial for me. Why? And this earth is very much suitable for you. That is the last line. So let me explain. Blessed encompasses the poet's love and devotion towards the cuckoo. Here the poet has dignified the bird because of what? Love and passions. Wordsworth called the earth unsubstantial. Now unsubstantial means unrealistic. हे सगळं जग भासमय वाटतंय. याचं कारण काय? लहानपणापासून ते आतापर्यंत. Since my childhood to up to now, I have been trying to listen to you, watch you, but I could not. गंमतच आहे वाटतं. हे सगळं पृथ्वी म्हणजे काय वाटते? जादू वाटते, अनरिअलिस्टिक वाटते. आणि त्यामुळे तो म्हणतोय an unsubstantial fairy place. That earth is unsubstantial fairy place, and that is very much suited to you. That place is very much fit for you. Fit home for thee means fit home for you. Now, the earth is so versatile and perfect dwelling for the cuckoo, as he too is full of contradictions. The comparison of earth and comparison of earth with that cuckoo. Cuckoo is also complex character. Why complex? He has been trying to watch that bird. And other hand, the earth is also somewhat fairy place, unsubstantial place. So both are having contradictions, and I think that earth is the perfect place for you. Both are having some contradictions, and that is the poem, that is the Cuckoo by William Wordsworth. So I hope you understood this poem. I tried my best to analyze it. Then I will stop here and I conclude my presentation with this. Thank you.